I am writing this letter knowing it will never reach the person it was meant for. That is something I still haven't fully accepted, even though I've had time to sit with it. Time doesn't always bring clarity. Sometimes it just makes the silence louder. This letter is for the future. It's for anyone who might read it and think, that won't happen to me, because I thought that too. I had a best friend once, the kind of friend you don't question, the kind you assume will always be there because they always have been. We didn't talk every day, but we didn't need to. Our friendship didn't depend on constant updates or shared routines. It was built over years, quietly, steadily, the way real things usually are. We grew up believing we had time to catch up, time to sit down properly, time to talk about the things we kept postponing because life was busy and responsibilities felt urgent. When he first told me he was sick, I didn't understand what it really meant. Cancer is a word people use carefully, but when it enters your life, it still feels abstract at first. Doctors explain stages, treatments are discussed, hope is framed statistically. You tell yourself that modern medicine is advanced, that people survive these things all the time. I remember telling him we'd talk properly soon, that I'd come by once things settled down, that we'd laugh about it later. I truly believed that. The first few weeks after his diagnosis, I stayed busy. Work didn't slow down, life didn't pause to let me process what was happening. I checked in occasionally, short messages, brief calls, enough to convince myself I was being present. What I didn't do was show up. I told myself I would visit when I had more time. I told myself he was surrounded by family and didn't need me hovering. I told myself I didn't want to be in the way, didn't want to make things awkward, didn't want to see him like that. Looking back now, I can admit the truth. I was uncomfortable. I didn't know what to say, and instead of facing that discomfort, I avoided it. The thing about avoidance is that it always disguises itself as practicality. You convince yourself you're being sensible. You tell yourself there will be another chance, another visit, another conversation when things feel easier. They rarely do. As the months passed, his condition changed. He grew weaker. His voice sounded different when we spoke. There were longer pauses. Conversations became shorter, not because he had nothing to say, but because energy is a limited resource when you're fighting for your life. I kept promising myself I would go soon. I kept believing there would be a moment that felt right. That moment never arrived. One evening, I noticed I had missed a call from him. I saw it hours later. I stared at my phone longer than I should have, thinking about what to say, how to sound normal, how not to make it heavy. I didn't call back that night. I told myself I would do it the next morning. The next morning, I got the message that changed everything. He was gone. There are moments in life that don't feel real, even as they're happening. That was one of them. I remember sitting still, replaying the last few months in my head, searching for a point where I could rewind and choose differently. I kept thinking about that last missed call. I don't know what he wanted to say. I don't know if he needed comfort or distraction or just a familiar voice. I don't know if he knew it would be the last time he reached out. What I do know is that I wasn't there. That's the part that stays with you. People often talk about regret as something dramatic, but most regret is quiet. It doesn't shout. It waits. It shows up late at night when there's nothing to distract you. It reminds you of all the ordinary moments you treated as replaceable. I never said goodbye to my best friend. Not because I didn't care, not because I didn't love him, but because I believed there would be time. This letter is my apology. It's the conversation I didn't have, the presence I withheld without meaning to, the acknowledgement I delayed until it was no longer possible. If I could speak to him now, I wouldn't try to explain myself. I wouldn't list my responsibilities or talk about how busy life was. None of that matters in hindsight. I would simply tell him I'm sorry for choosing comfort over courage. And then I would sit there, quietly, the way I should have when it mattered. This letter is also for you. If someone in your life is sick right now, don't wait for the perfect moment to show up. It doesn't exist. There is only now, and now is always enough. If someone you love keeps calling and you keep postponing, understand that some conversations expire. Not because people stop caring, but because life decides for us. We all assume we'll recognize the last chance when it comes. Most of the time we don't. We mistake familiarity for permanence. We confuse delay with patience. We believe relationships are resilient enough to survive absence. Sometimes they aren't. The future doesn't need more apologies written too late. It needs people who are willing to be present even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's painful. If you're reading this and someone comes to mind, don't dismiss it. That's not coincidence. That's your opportunity. Go see them, call them, sit with them, even if you don't know what to say. Because one day you might find yourself writing a letter like this, wishing you had been braver when it counted. This is my letter to the future. Learn from my delay. Don't carry the weight I do. Say goodbye while you still can.